Hello, everybody, and welcome to the fourth episode of Senioritis. Today is December 16th, and I'm joined here with Derek Terrell, Matthew Lyons, and Joe Beaver as all of our co-hosts. We all co-host the show. I guess today we can just hop right into it. Does anyone have something cool to talk about, something new, something fresh?
Nothing really fresh. It's more the same old type of thing. We're back to remote learning. I know none of us like it. I do think that this time, I don't want to say better, but my attitude isn't as negative as it was last time, although it's still negative. Are you guys do you feel better about it now that we kind of know the way it goes, or do you feel the same or even worse?
I mean, I think that last time I was just so shocked at the way they were handling it.
Mhm.
And now that I know, all right, this is just how it's going to be, I've just kind of accepted it. And it was a much easier pill to swallow, already knowing what I was getting into. Where last time it was a big shock when, we continued to have, the work that we did on top of the classes.
Right. Joe, what about you?
Yeah, I mean, I'm still getting a ton of work with on top of the remote stuff, so it is what it is. But I probably just got to do it anyways. I don't know.
It's like my second tour in Afghanistan at this point. I really know, I've already been there. I expect what's coming. I know it's not going to be fun, but just, yeah, I guess you got to deal with it. You got to suck it up because everyone else is.
Wow, that's a strong comparison right there. Let's do a quick Christmas spirit check-in. Where are we at? Are we close? Are we there? Is it gone? Did it come and go?
It hasn't come.
His head, not there.
Hasn't gone. I usually get it around right when, school's over. I'm sure we'll still have work. I believe we still technically have school on the 23rd. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Not on the 23rd, no.
No, we don't. We usually do, but not this year, I guess. Well, I'll probably get it on the 23rd once we're done with school. But I oftentimes, especially this year, have had a hard time getting into the Christmas spirit with the way school's been going. I'm trying my best. The house is decorated. The stockings are hung by the chimney and stuff, but it's just not happening.
For me, I'm totally invested. It's ramped up. Decorating the whole house. I've done most of the Christmas stuff around the house, so I guess it kind of makes sense that I'm feeling it. I bought all my gifts. Everything's all wrapped, and then last night, we usually decorate the tree right after Christmas. Right after Thanksgiving. But
I was gonna say that's a little bit strange. Do it after Christmas.
But see, my family, I'm the youngest. And so I have both my parents and my sister all work full time. So it's really hard trying to get the whole family together nowadays because I usually work weekends because I have a part-time job. So we finally got everybody together, decorated the tree, and I am all in on Christmas. What about you, Joe?
I mean, I'm just more excited for break than anything. Just 2.5 weeks off. Not so much the Christmas part, but I mean, I guess that's nice too. But for me, it's just the break, really, that I'm looking forward to. Because I feel these last couple of weeks of school has been a ton of work and stuff. So,
yeah, Christmas feels like a chore this year for me. I still have I'm at that point where I got some stuff done on online shopping, but now it's too late to do online shopping. So I'm now going to have to go get some stuff that I wasn't able to get.
What about you, Matt? Did you already say it? I feel like you haven't.
But I'm there finally. I've reached, the beginning levels of the holiday spirit. My house is finally decorated. It took us a while, but it's there. I finally got most of my gifts ready, not wrapped, and I'm probably today I'm gonna start watching some holiday stuff. Maybe start listening to some music, but feels good because I feel there's kind of a pressure, when that every year Christmas is the 25th, and you have to get into that spirit when everyone's jolly, especially this year when it's I don't think a lot of us have been too good spirited, but it's good to be there. Derek, I hope you join us soon.
I hope so
Joe,
too.
I hope you have the greatest break ever. Yeah.
No, I feel like this break is very like well needed, and I hope it doesn't go like it usually does. How like teachers will assign like a book to read or like a big project over break, because that seems to happen every year to me. Like I
Yeah.
always get especially with English class, I always get like read the entire novel over vacation. All right, well when am I supposed to have a vacation?
Right.
So I hope that they understand the situation this year and then just like, all right, have the time off. It's what's meant to be, so just have it. Um,
I
but
feel like
also,
teachers are in this. Oh, sorry, you go.
oh well, no, I was gonna expand upon it, so you can comment on it.
No, you expand. My timing is just terrible with Zoom. I'm not meant to converse online. I interrupt everybody every single meeting. It's terrible. So you go.
Well, because the fact like we're running our lessons at like 25% right now, like we're not learning as much as we usually do. So I wouldn't be surprised if we got like bombarded over vacation. Now you go, Matt.
This should be like a timer, like in chess, how they hit the
Yeah.
thing. I think teachers are in like the same boat as us, because I mean this has been like the biggest shell shock of a year for them too. So I feel like they need a vacation just as much as we do.
That's true.
Yeah, but I don't think that stops them from dumping some work on us over break. I mean, they can just kind of set it up and forget it until after break if they really needed to. But I know some teachers, I just don't know. I'm really hoping that, I understand, like, we're in school, we only have so much time. I am totally fine just working like crazy next Monday and Tuesday, what's that, 21st and 22nd? Fine. Give us as much work as you need to on those days. Like, give us tests, give us essays, do what you have to do. But then I would take that over, just getting a ton of remote work for Christmas break. I think that's the likely option. I really hope it doesn't happen. But
I feel
I
like
agree with what Aaron said, where we haven't had enough time. So I think they're just going to cram in as much as they can because that's what they've been doing.
I feel like my teachers like aren't doing that. Luckily, like I think they're not giving me work over break so far. So it seems like because I got like 3 projects assigned, like 2 at like the 22nd. So at least like I'm hoping, like you said, if they just give me it all then, like if I get all those projects done or whatever, like test quiz, I'm pretty optimistic that they won't, because it seems like they're giving me a lot now as far as like the bigger projects and stuff like that. So
That'd be good.
yeah.
How's everybody doing with their college kind of like progression? I know we talked about it earlier in like I think episode 2 about applying to all these colleges, and I feel like decisions are slowly starting to roll out. Not really like all of them, but are you guys at least seeing like a positive outcome?
Yeah. I mean, Aaron, we were talking about this yesterday. I kind of had a narrow search. I searched, I knew exactly what I was looking for in a school, and I have so far I've been accepted to 3 schools, so that's very exciting. Aaron, Matt, congratulations! I know you guys have been accepted to some schools. Joe, have you heard back from us?
Yeah, I got accepted to my.
Congratulations!
Nice.
Are you
That's awesome.
seeing that schools are more like generous this year? Would you say?
I wouldn't say generous. I would say more fair and understanding. Because I mean, you see on the websites, they're like, yeah, we get it. Most of you guys didn't take SATs. We won't count that. I mean, I guess you could view that as generous, but I feel like that's just more realistic. Because I mean,
It's
there's
just like,
yeah,
accommodating the situation.
right.
I wish like more people could do that, but yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, I at least we're all like seeing positive outcomes. We're seeing some acceptances. That's kind of it's like a little bit of like happiness when you find out like you got accepted to a place. I hate to say, especially like in a town like this, but I feel like that always gets kind of like added on the end. But yeah, I mean, as long as you guys are having some good decisions, then I'm happy as well.
Yeah. And I
And
know that we've all been getting some acceptances, so that's good to hear.
It's a
oh
it's
god,
a-
I keep on interrupting. It's so bad.
it's when I like got my first acceptance notification. It's weird to have it on email now because I always assumed like a letter coming in and it's an email. But it was just a huge level of relief. Like I could take a deep breath and be like, oh, okay. Like at least I have somewhere to go.
Yeah.
And especially it was a school, that I really wanted to go to. So there's
Which
that.
one was your first one that you got back?
It was
from?
Emerson.
Oh yeah.
Yesterday, yeah. And you got accepted too, right?
I did get accepted
Awesome.
to Emerson yesterday. Yeah, Matt.
Air high five.
Yeah, my first one I got accepted to was a letter. So I was like really excited about that. I got to open it. I got to like get like the little gifts they've sent. My desk is covered in like stuff from colleges right now. But yeah, Keene State was the first one, and they mailed me my acceptance letter, but I also got an email. And so I just happened to get the package before the email got sent, which was weird. And then for Fitchburg, it was the other way around, where I got the email, and then a few days later, I got something in the mail. And then Emerson, I just got the email. I don't know if they'll send anything, but
I hope so. I like the letters. It's something to
yeah.
to
Well, I
hold.
printed mine out because you could get it on the website. I printed
Oh, yeah,
mine,
that's right.
So yeah, it's very easy to print. You just download the PDF. So that's I have all mine in like a folder.
Did you like print it and then like put it in an envelope, stick it in your mailbox, and then like go outside and be like, oh, what's this?
No, I didn't do that.
It's probably something I would do.
Yeah.
What about you guys? Letters or?
More colleges need to do that. I've gotten like one physical. I got 3 colleges so far. I've gotten one physical like letter thing, but I feel like seeing like that big package, like saying like congratulations on it. It's so much better than just an email.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes the email has some like confetti that like comes out of it. I mean, they're putting.
Yeah, there's a
They're trying.
difference between opening an email though and like ripping open that package because
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I wish they sent me an email first. I wish I didn't see the email, to be honest. I would have preferred, because a day later I got the actual letter. Like, so I don't know. I mean, they sent like a cool little thing, had a bunch of like stickers in it or whatever, and it was pretty nice. I wish I saw the letter first, to be honest, but it's all right. I mean, I'm just happy I got in. So
Right.
Yeah, that stuff's so fun. I mean, my biggest advice to anyone who would be applying to colleges is just like really build up a relationship with the admissions counselors at the schools that you really want to go to, because that's given me so many opportunities. I mean, I've been able to talk to students in the field that I want to go into. I've been able to do like open houses. I've even been able to do some tours, even in like these times. And when schools see you doing that stuff, they appreciate it. And like, I've got stuff sent to me from like doing open houses. I've gotten chances to apply through like different programs that have gotten my results back faster. So I think definitely a good idea is to reach out. But yeah, I got like a like phone pop socket thing. I got a little duffel bag, a hat. So a nice beanie winter hat. So yeah, cool stuff.
Have you guys been seeing the Bell's palsy rumor going around the COVID vaccine?
No, I have not.
So out of Pfizer or Pfizer, I think. Pfizer.
Yeah.
Out of the 44,000 people they implemented their new vaccine on, 4 of them came back with Bell's palsy. And if you know what Bell's palsy is, it's a temporary paralysis in your face. So
How temporary?
It's temporary.
How temporary though? Like weeks, days,
I think like months.
It's
right.
I think the time frame is, let me look it up. I think the time frame, I think it varies a lot.
Wow.
Improve in about 2 weeks, and it can take 3 to 6 months to fully resolve. But at the same time, this was only 4 people out of the 44,000.
I don't like those odds.
So actually, my phone's back here. I'll crunch some numbers in the meantime.
Yeah, I definitely would not want to be one of the 4. That's
not 1 in 10,000 or 11,000, right? If it's 44,000 people, right? So I mean, that's not even like is that even a full percent though?
You have a 0.00009% chance
Oh yeah, that's fine.
of
I'd
getting
take it still.
from these vaccines.
But when they start getting into the millions and like out of the millions, 90,000 people get it. That's probably wrong. But
Right.
you know,
So what's like
What's that percent of, say, I don't know,
300
few
million.
million?
Like that's the U.S. population. So
we'll
do
do
like
300 million. So then we'll do you multiply it by 300 million, right?
yeah, I think
yeah.
so.
I hope no math teachers are watching this. They're probably like, oh my God, these
That
seniors.
is, if I did my calculations correctly, that is 27,000 people that could
Yeah, no.
experience Bell's palsy.
Hmm.
But
This is not an official research thing. We did this on an iPhone calculator. Do not take this as any judgment. Make your own judgment on whether you want to take the vaccine.
But I mean, like there's nothing like connecting. Like they don't have like a definitive reason that connects Bell's palsy to the Pfizer vaccine. It's just for people after taking it experienced it.
Could be
So
a
it's kind of like
coincidence.
those COVID deaths that got counted by the people who like got hit by cars and they just like happen to have COVID in their system,
Exactly.
like that
So
stuff.
it's been a big debacle on whether this is actually like a serious. I mean, I think we have like a 0.0009% chance. If that's not a big chance at all.
I mean, it's big when there's like a lot of out of a big number.
That's true. But I mean, Bell's palsy is temporary, but still, who wants
Right.
to be paralyzed for 6 months?
Not me. Especially not these 6 months. Like the last 6 months of senior year, just droopy face the whole time.
Yeah. So I feel like for me, like vaccines like usually take years to come out. And I mean, obviously, like the whole focus on in the world though, like usually vaccines, like there's like small groups that are focusing on a vaccine, but now the entire world is putting all their resources together, and these big pharmaceutical companies to try to find this vaccine, so which you also can find, kind of put together, so you would find it faster. But I don't know. I feel like I gotta wait for the.
They're still testing it though. They haven't released it yet, right? No, they're still
Oh,
testing it.
they're going out now.
Right.
Like
In the UK,
Oh,
they've given it to, they give it to like the people who need it most, where we're gonna give it to like healthcare workers. Like they give it to like
yeah,
older
we're not
people.
getting it for a while anyway, even if we wanted it. Like,
Didn't it start rolling out Monday?
yeah,
Yeah.
in the U.S. or just around the world?
No, in the U.S.
Okay.
like the timeline for this is December to February is like your first responders and healthcare workers and like the people who are working around COVID patients. And the second round goes to people who are in businesses that are deemed essential, so like grocery store workers. I think like hair.
Oh, that's you, Aaron. That's you.
I know.
Peapod.
That's you.
So, I mean, I have the opportunity. I mean, like we could try out the first wave on the healthcare workers.
We'll just let you try it. There we go.
I don't want to be the
Problem
test.
solved.
I don't want to be the
Are
test.
those Peapod workers marching up to the hospitals? Shoulders rolled up.
Ready to go.
Yeah, but the thing about this, like this, if this vaccine does like work how they say it's gonna work, you're still gonna be out of work for like a week or two because you're
Why?
exhibiting
Does it-
symptoms of COVID.
Yeah, it makes you like sick, like
Why?
temporarily sick. Well, it's like you know, like when you get a flu vaccine, like sometimes it like swells or whatever, like or like you get like a little bit sick. Like I don't know, has that happened to you guys before? Like you
No.
get sick after you get the flu vaccine because
No.
like
Not
your
usually.
body's like responding to whatever you know is inside it.
Maybe because I've got the flu vaccine like every year, and it's.
Yeah, that's probably
But
So you probably have
getting this one
tolerance.
for the first time.
So like people get sick because like their body's trying to like fight the fake or like I think it's an mRNA vaccine. I don't really know what that means, but
Oh yeah, Joe, I forgot you're like going into this stuff, right? Kind of
kinda, yeah.
something similar.
Oh, that makes sense. I was like, how do I?
Yeah.
I was like, should I be knowing this? Do I need a pen?
So I think people it's just because it's like new to their body that they're like fighting it a bit.
Yeah,
But I don't know. I mean, I could be wrong. So
My grandmother, I was talking to her yesterday on the phone, and she asked something interesting. She said, like, 9 months, the entire world, pandemic, we all work together and we finally have a vaccine. And let's just say, it's perfect, it works. Why haven't we cured cancer in all these years, with all these different, all these millions and billions of dollars being thrusted at cancer research? Why are we not able to stop that when it took 9 months to solve COVID?
That's true.
You
And I
see,
know they're different, but still, it's
But that
strange to
can
think.
be applied to any health issue that hasn't been resolved. It doesn't, you don't even have to necessarily say cancer, but yeah, that is true. Maybe, it is rushed. I don't know. I'm very conflicted. Part of me wants to just say, part of me wants to just trust it, and because the risk reward there, you trust it. Everyone gets vaccinated, we get to go back to normal. Like that's huge.
Yeah.
But the other side of it is, the side effects and whatnot.
going off your point, Matt, because I feel like it's a really good point because there are a bunch of like cancer research like facilities, like specifically to cancer research. Um, but I feel like, and I need my tinfoil hat again. All right, I need to make one
Oh, the
because
birds aren't reals coming
I
back.
have a lot of conspiracy theories. Cancer is one of the most expensive things to treat, which makes it one of the most profitable things to treat because it's so expensive. Therefore, I mean, if you're making a lot, if these pharmaceutical companies and these hospitals are making a lot of money off chemotherapy and radiation treatments, then why stop?
That's sad, but yeah.
I mean, you can't help but not, think of those things.
No, you're right. That's
It's
just
been
how
around
it
for-
works. But I mean, look at the opioid pandemic, and I mean, epidemic, and just everything that's happened in the past. So,
Oh, here's a question for you guys. Do you think all drugs should be legalized?
well, legalized or decriminalized?
Yeah.
is the difference.
Decriminalized.
I don't think so. I mean, depends.
No.
Yeah, if there's someone smuggling like 4 tons of like is it like certain amounts like if it's like a small amount, would it be like okay, or would it be like if it's a ton?
Let's just say small amounts.
I guess it depends on what it is. I mean, yes.
Let's say heroin, for example.
Probably not. I don't know.
Well, you initially said all. I would say no. Not all
Okay.
drugs should be
Um,
decriminalized.
Aaron, what about you?
Like, I feel like it depends because, like you have drugs like heroin, like crack cocaine, that can be very lethal. So I feel like we need to reclass all these because marijuana was like a class A drug for a while, I think, and now it's legal. So I feel like because like the heavy anti-drug roots, I feel like we need to, or the government or anybody just needs to kind of reclassify everything and decriminalize the drugs that aren't very lethal.
Because it wasn't a few years ago. It was last year. It just feels like a long time ago. In law class, Mr. Moore asked that question. And immediately I was like, what? No, drugs are bad. They should be illegal. And then he explained it, and he said countries like, I believe, Denmark, maybe, possibly Sweden. I don't know. They legalized, I think, like all drugs. I don't know what the amount was, but and the numbers of addiction dropped drastically
Oh yeah.
because, like, rather than people, on the streets, taking these drugs with like dirty needles and things like that, they would go to facilities where they would get their required fix for it. And then, so like, people weren't getting AIDS from the dirty needles. And I mean, most people who are addicted to drugs, well, not most, I can't speak on that, but I think a lot of people, that they don't want to get addicted. They don't want to have that. And a lot of people actually got help getting off of those drugs when they were legalized because they weren't really as afraid to kind of reach out. And then because they were getting these drugs administered by professionals, it was a lot easier to have them help the addict get off the drugs.
Right, because it's less of coming out and admitting you did a crime and more of
Yeah.
I need help. Yeah, I see that. I think like I think what it does is it helps people who have drug problems. But what I feel like it also can do is kind of get more people into drugs. So I feel like it's kind of a double-edged sword in that way, where when you make it easier to get, people who wouldn't have done it before and now say, oh, maybe I will try this or maybe I will try that, and then they get addicted. But I think it does help people who are already addicted that can, has those solutions. So I think it's a double-edged sword, and I think it's like above my pay grade for like a decision like that. I'm not informed enough on the topic
Right.
and like the stats and stuff, but that's the way I see it.
It's interesting. I mean, we've been, taught like all these lessons about how drugs are bad, and they are bad for sure. They do a lot of negative things to the body. But as Aaron said, the regulations and laws on marijuana have changed. And I think a lot of people's opinions on marijuana has changed now that it's been decriminalized. And once I heard that statistic, like my mind was just blown that, not everything, and there is that inherent instinct to rebel against, the law that some people have, like, oh, it's legal, like, oh, I don't care, I'm a rebel, I'll do what I want. It's interesting thing to think about for sure.
And I feel like if we do go that route for decriminalizing all drugs, we need more drug education. Because I mean, and you could see this kind of situation with sex education as well. Like if you just teach kids abstinence, then nobody's gonna like. There's gonna be a lot of teen pregnancies.
Right.
Rather, if you teach teenagers proper sex education, you're not gonna find those repercussions that you would. Like I know, like down south, I hate to say like down south, but like I feel like religion does kind of play a big role in that, in like abstinence, because obviously it's part of like the Christian religion. I'm not trying to make like generalized assumptions. I'm just trying to, from what I've seen in news stories and from the media about that situation with a lot of teen pregnancies in southern states. But to wrap up my point, I guess, there needs to be more education if we do decriminalize drugs. Just so it's not like, hey, let's try heroin because it's legal.
Joe is our medical expert. What do you have to say on this?
I mean, yeah, I kind of agree with Dan. Like if you decriminalize it, then and the people aren't educated on like what it can do to you, then I mean, people might be like, hey, let's just give it a shot, type of thing. I mean, I'm assuming most people wouldn't do that, but I'm sure there's some people, and then we might get more addicts. But then I think Derek put it the best way by saying it's like a double-edged sword. So it'll help people that might be struggling with it, but then more people might get like addicted as a result. So it depends really.
Yeah. I think like a lot of people who like wanted to do it but were like scared because of the law would just go for it if it became legal. Like there's nothing stopping people from getting addicted to these drugs anymore unless, like Aaron said, they did like move into education. But then the problem is there's part of this population that they're not going to school anymore, they're adults, and like how do you educate those people like fully, and how are they going to listen in a way that they'll listen? And I don't know, I just feel like there's a lot of people that would just do it if it was legal. So
we have Oregon as a test dummy, so we can see what happens over there on like in the western part of the United States, and see if actually the addiction rates do in fact go down. So they decriminalized everything. And Joe, sorry, I'm cutting you off. So
yeah, you're good. It's like one positive though might be like, so if you buy like illegally like drugs and stuff like that, there might be like fentanyl or something, in there. It's like laced with something, so it could be deadly. So I mean, that's another thing to think about. It could prevent some of those, cases where someone like buys something illegally and there's something else and they OD because of it.
Right.
So,
you even see that with weed like already. So I mean, it's just, yeah. And another thing is, when is, like Matt was saying earlier, when it goes through the government, I mean, you can also tax it, which is another thing. You can tax the hell out of it. Although that, I know they try to do that with marijuana, and then that, makes people end up still tending to want to go to the streets for it because it's just so taxed. But I mean, that's always another thing you could do. But
Yeah. And what's a cool thing about marijuana is that I forget where this was. I think it was Wareham or Waltham in Massachusetts, where they first opened, like one of the first dispensaries in Massachusetts was there, and they sold out of their stock like immediately the day after, and all those taxes went into building them a brand new school for the children. So like literally, like their school was mainly funded by marijuana. Um, and I feel like there's a lot of benefits, and it's a lot of uncertainty around it too. I would love to get an older person's, like an adult, I would say,
yeah,
adult's perspective on this, because I feel like our generation doesn't have how the only word that's coming to mind is strict kind of viewpoints on these subjects. Because from my personal experience with talking with adults about this, it's like, no, drugs are bad. Like we're not
Just say no.
exactly. So I would love to have
that's what I've been doing. It's been working so far, but
but I would love to have a deep conversation about this with like an adult or even like a school administrator or something, just to get their viewpoint.
yeah, it'd be interesting.
So, anyone else have anything to add? Anything you want to burn any questions you have to talk about?
I mean, any plans for the holidays? Not that we really can have plans, but I mean, I personally don't have much lined up.
Especially with us going back to phase 2, like a modified phase 2.
Is that not just Boston?
That's the entirety of Massachusetts.
Oh, okay. I heard only Boston was just back in phase 2.
Does that mean like gym reservations are back? Like you have to make like I don't know, for a while you had to like call and then make a reservation and then like to go. Does that mean those are back? Is like that how it's gonna work now?
It hasn't started yet, but I feel like, let me just make sure I'm having these correct assumptions before I spread propaganda. So
I think phase 2, I remember it was like July is when we went into phase 2 over the summer. So
okay, well, I'm getting a bunch of. I have a lot of graphs on my screen that I can't really understand.
Describe these graphs. What colors are these graphs?
There's dots all over.
A lot of red.
Actually, it's blue.
That's good.
Yeah.
Blue for Massachusetts.
Yeah, I'm not going to be able to find this. I think I'm just too stupid to navigate this right now. But maybe it's just Boston. So I guess just look it up for yourself, guys, because I don't know.
Yeah, don't use us as any official news source or anything like that. Not that I don't think.
By the time this airs, we could be back in phase 1. So who
right,
knows?
so you never know.
Yeah.
Everything's just changing so rapidly day to day, which is awful. One day we have, 2 days of school plus all our remote work in a week, and then the next day we have 4 days of school plus the remote work in a week. So you just never know. And that like uncertainty is just awful, especially with what we do, trying to plan productions and whatnot. I think that's the hardest part is, finally getting into a rhythm with things or finally getting adjusted to something and then it changes. And yeah, it's not good. And yeah, I mean, I was saying this earlier. We have to, see that everyone's trying the best they can. The teachers are trying the best they can. The administration's trying the best they can. I mean, you even have our superintendent who's pushing for snow days, which is like awesome. I'm pretty sure. Do you guys hear about that?
yeah.
So
What version, like pushing to have snow days?
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. That might be outdated, but I'm pretty sure at one point he was trying to get so we'd have traditional snow days. I could be wrong about that though.
No, I think you're right. I think they're gonna vote January, like their very first meeting in January, whether or not they're gonna have like online snow days or not. And then I think Mr. Schaefer was against it, like against having online snow days.
So
He was
against having school online during snow days?
Yeah, so he was advocating for us to have the day off, like no one does
That's what I
school
was trying
because
to say, yeah.
yeah, and I think his reason was because it could mess up like the wave and green, like teachers would have to prepare different lessons for him, and it could set a class like ahead or behind. So
Yeah, I definitely see that. Yeah, that's I hope we have snow days as seniors, seeing as we don't have to make them up. But I feel worse for like little kids. Snow days were the best. Like middle school, know it like getting that call at night and like staying up with all my friends, playing on like the Xbox 360 like till like the middle of the night because we didn't have school the next day, and then waking up and going out in the snow and having like hot chocolate and stuff. Like for kids to not have that. I mean, I work with kids, so I like see it, and I think like this whole thing's awful for us, but it is like way worse for these kids. I feel so bad. Like I go into work and I see these kids and they got their masks on and stuff, and they just like, especially because a lot of parents of kids that age are like way more cautious than maybe our parents would be. So like they're not doing anything like with their friends or like anything like that. And I mean, obviously they don't have as much of a voice as we do. So, it is very sad that, these kids are having like these important chapters of their life like taken away. It's really sad. And I
Even
wonder what
like,
the long-term effects, even for us, are going to be like having
yeah,
experienced all this during like such important times of our life and what's supposed to be considered senior year, like the best year of your life or whatever some consider. So I just went on like a tangent. You guys can comment on any part of that. Sorry.
Joe, what were you gonna say?
I was gonna ask you guys, do you think like with all the technology and laptops now, do you guys think snow days are gonna be gone forever, kind of like now that you can be online?
No,
And
I don't think so.
Unfortunately, but that's not really our problem.
I don't think so. I don't see that going away forever.
Yeah.
Like I don't think in-person schooling will go away. I think is like, well, do you mean like for the rest of the year, or you mean like
so like I'm
decades in the future?
talking like so let's say everything goes back to normal, like no like COVID vaccine comes and people take it and stuff like that, and then like we have 5 day school weeks. Well, we won't, but like kids that are going to school,
Mhm.
and then like there's a snow day on like a Thursday, let's say. Do you think they would all go on their laptops instead and just not have like the day off, I guess?
So the reason I don't think that's going to happen, I think as long as we're in a hybrid schedule, there's always a risk of that. But if we were fully in school, people wouldn't really be used to like the team's format. So I think it would be a little ridiculous. And I think like administration and the teachers would think it would be ridiculous for the only time to use a remote model would be during snow days. I don't think they would like do that.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Because if we were back to full normal, that's what it would be. The only time we'd be going online would be for snow days. And I think that's ridiculous. And I think they
Yeah.
will think that's ridiculous. And I don't think it will happen. But as long as
Especially
we're in a
like
hybrid schedule, I think it's a possibility.
having to like train teachers how to use the remote
Yeah.
model,
Just for
and you
snow
can't
days. Like what?
just like kind of pull it out of your hat like, there's a remote lesson we can do that fits right into what we were talking about yesterday. You can't do that. Derek, going off of what you were talking about how kids are dealing with this, and like especially the younger kids and how it's going to affect them. I mean, how can a kindergartner or a first grader learn to read 2 days a week? You can't do it. I mean, these kids are going to be set back at least a whole year.
Minimum.
In fourth grade, they could be, still trying to learn things from third grade or even second grade. I think, the next 12 years, or I don't know, however many, years these kids are going to be dealing with this, they're going to be set back in a lot of ways. And I think that they're going to have to work a lot harder at school and at home to kind of catch up to where they can
Right.
and should be.
Because we've seen it at least the high school level. These challenges happen, but the bar doesn't come down at all. The bar
Right.
stays right where it is. So, we have seen that even though, we've had challenges, the bar stays in the same spot. We've had to all step it up, with this model, and where those early years are where you learn very important social skills, problem solving skills, time management skills. And the fact that these kids, like, it's much harder for them to learn that through like this model. I like fear for them going into middle school, high school, you know what I mean? Without like, or at least having learned those things in a way where they might have not got as much from it. So it will be very interesting to see what happens when, say someone who's in second grade now goes to high school. And it will be very important. Like, because even though the pandemic might be over, I think its effects are going to last forever on like those kids and, maybe even us. But, even like social skills, like how are people, like, I feel like people are already disconnected enough as is with like screens, and now there could be kids that have like, never even gone to a classroom before, younger kids, and they've only ever done it through like online. Like, how are those kids going to struggle making friends at school and like having normal like communication skills?
Obviously it's like an exaggeration, but like in South Park, like Carmen, he he like had anxiety or whatever going back to like the school. He was like freaking out about having to go back to in person because he was used to the online stuff. And you saying that reminded me of that because he was obviously freaking out because he had to go back to in the classroom stuff. So and it's definitely different, like because then we'll mask like having to wear a mask in person. Do we know if they're fully like at home or do they do the hybrid at like preschool?
I don't know what the younger kids are doing. I know that it's like when it comes to at work, when I've asked them, even at ages like first, as early as like first grade, they're like hybrid and like they've had to like go full remote in like kindergarten, first grade. I know, Matt, your mom works with those kids, correct? Mm-hmm. Who's a little bit older.
No, she works with no, she works with second graders.
Right.
But so I mean, she's in the building. She kind of I think preschool, all of Abington Public Schools is, I don't know actually. K through 12 is hybrid. I'm not sure about the preschool.
Yeah.
But to some degree, they're definitely in the building because we see them with the tiny little masks on their face. I don't know if they go 2 days or 4 days.
Yeah, I will say I was shocked at work that 4-year-olds would be so good at wearing masks. Some of them like it. Like it's like a style thing. Like they have Avengers masks, or they have like I don't know, like Disney themed masks. Like some of them are like, I don't have to be like, oh, put your mask up. Like they're good with it. So
I really do hope that this gets better because we're already like an awkward generation to begin with. I can't imagine what's going to happen after this. Like, because we're all guilty of it. Like we go on our phones in public sometimes and we probably should be having a conversation with somebody else. And especially when a lot of these like older extroverted adults, because like I feel like they insinuate the conversation a lot. When the generations start to change, like social situations are scary to think about.
Yeah. Do you guys ever like think of like when you're alone, maybe when you're eating lunch alone, especially now, in the cafeteria, even like standing in a line, when there's no one to talk to, there's nothing to do, you just pull out your phone, even if you pretend to do something. Like I think about like what did my mom do like back then? What did my grandmother do back then? Like when they were in a line, what did they look at? What did they think about? Like if you don't have that security net of a phone, like how do you like where do you look if you're eating lunch alone? Do you watch other people eat lunch? Do you look at the wall? What do you do?
Yeah, I've actually thought about that myself. I don't know actually. Maybe we could probably ask them. But yeah, I've thought about that myself.
I feel like it was just you just think, like you just kind of think.
Yeah, but it must have been just so weird, just like stare, like zone off into the distance.
Yeah, like I know at lunch at school now that we all sit individually at desks, I'll throw on a TV show or a podcast or a YouTube video, but even at home, if no one's home, because I usually have to eat before everyone else, before work, so I can eat before work, I'll be watching YouTube, or I'll be doing whatever, just kind of watching some film stuff, or, whatever. But I don't know. I know I can't just like sit there and do nothing. I wish I could, but I like always am like, ooh, there's information out there for me to be absorbing right now. Like, let's get to it.
Yeah.
We're such a fast-paced generation. Because I think we are actually genuinely the first generation to fully grow up with technology. Because I remember the iPod coming out in like second grade. So we're like the first people to kind of usually go all the way through with technology. And I genuinely see like we talk really fast. That might just be a Boston thing, but like we don't like slow down like older, like our adults too. And yeah, it's weird because there's such like a big gap there.
I don't know what like would have happened if like I didn't have all my technology during this pandemic. Like if we couldn't do this right now, you know what I mean? Imagine that. Imagine not having like Disney Plus to watch The Mandalorian every week when like in the middle of a pandemic, or have Netflix to watch, or Xbox to play, or like anything, like your computer to just go on and browse, phone to just look at, like, and even not even just for entertainment purposes, but also for communication purposes, being able to like talk to your friends, hang out with your friends. It definitely has been helpful to have things like this.
Yeah. I'm happy with where I am, and I think where all of you are, where like I didn't get my phone until I was in 7th grade, I think. Because I think we were like the last group of people that actually like played outside. And I think we definitely, our parents would say like, get off the video games, go outside, do something. But I think we did have those experiences of like playing manhunt in the woods, or going outside and having your parents say like, come back when not to the degree like, when the street lights come on, but a sense of that, something relatively close to that. Whereas nowadays, I don't see anyone playing outside anymore, not due to the pandemic, but before that.
Right.
Everything's on Xbox or PlayStation or anything. So
Yeah,
I'm glad that
crazy.
we got to experience that.
Yeah, me too. I'm really glad I had that, because, when I was that age, I was never someone who was like, I'd rather be on my video games. I was always like, okay, when I can't hang out with my friends at 9 o'clock at night or whatever, I'll go hang out with them on that. But I was always like at my neighborhood in Sandwich, we would be out all day, and my parents had a cowbell. Every family had their own like sound. One of them had like a foo-foo, I don't know how to pronounce it, foo-foo Zula horn. One had like a normal bell. We had a cowbell. And when you heard that sound, that's when it was time for food. And other than that, you go up, you get your food, right down back to the neighborhood to hang out with all the other kids. And you hear the bell, go up for dinner, come back, hang out more, play manhunt. There was like 4 or 5 bells a day, and you go up, get food, refill, come back down. But now it's like the bell is just to come down from your room from the video games. But
I wonder what kids do now, because I can't imagine like they're always on Xbox.
they are.
Like little kids, really? I don't work with little kids, so I wouldn't know. I mean,
yeah, there's some kids that know like more about it than I do. They're telling me all about like the CPUs and like all these different things that they downloaded, and I'm like, I don't even know what you're talking about. And I like am kind of like, I play video games, like, oh, why do I have no idea what you're trying to tell me right now? But yeah, even like when I was little, I'd wear like Star Wars shirts and stuff, but these kids have like Fortnite and like Roblox and like Minecraft and like stuff from video games. That's like what they like associate themselves with.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Then, I mean, to an extent, that probably is on the parenting then, because I feel like if you're not kind of telling your kid like go play outside, then that might be it. Because like I was always the one that like if I was on Xbox like a little bit too much, like my mom would be like, nope, like just go play with your friends, like go do that stuff. And then it kind of developed into like me wanting to do like hang out with my friends rather than play Xbox.
Yeah, well, the problem with that is one parent can do that, but if the rest of the parents don't do that, the kid's going out alone because the rest of them are inside playing video games. It's something that's just changed over time.
That's
Where-
sad. That's so sad.
It is so sad. I remember, and we'd go to your house, like we'd just spend hours just like messing around in the snow or whatever on a snow day, which is now a thing of the past, I guess. It's just like it's crazy. We're getting old, guys.
You gotta allow kids to have an imagination. You can't just like let them play video games all the time. Oh, that's sad. I don't want
Guys, the storylines we used to do with the Nerf guns,
Yeah.
we created absolute gold. We were ninjas. We were, I don't know,
Soldiers
soldiers
survivors
trying to
of the
save
zombie apocalypse. Who
Yeah, trying to
knows,
save the
man?
galaxy. Like
Who knows?
those were the good old days.
Yeah. Well,
I guess on that note of reminiscing, if anyone else has anything to add, I think we can end it here.
yeah. This was a good episode.
Yeah, I mean, we covered curing cancer to free drugs, legal drugs
Free.
to no, not free.
Palsy.
That's a separate conversation. Yeah, Bell's palsy now to childhood creativity.
Well, thank you everybody for watching the Senioritis podcast. This has been Aaron, Derek, Matt, and Joe. We will catch you on the next episode after Christmas.